So this is Garfield. He is a cat that lived behind my house. 4 years ago, I moved into my house and discovered that there was a feral cat community with about 13 cats in it. And this was one of the fellows. He was running around in my yard. So when I first moved in, I was kind of like bothered that there were so many cats running amok and like peeing and pooping in my flower beds and stuff like that. And some of the cats years before had been neutered. And the TNR groups had come in and neutered a lot of them, except for one. There was a female that just kept having babies. So as I lived here, we like caught the babies, raised them, adopted them out. And then over time, we noticed that some of the cats community were getting sick and dying. I actually trapped one and took him in, and within a few months, made him completely domestic. And now he's my little best friend. He's like never ever wants to go out ever again, and he's healthy and fine. Luckily, this is a well-fed community, and they didn't have a lot of disease, but something I think wound up going around inside the community. And so my neighbor and I decided to start trying to trap a few of them. And I found that after my second feral that I caught and domesticated, who turned out to be wonderful, found I had a knack for taking these feral cats and making them completely domesticated. We decided when we started seeing some of the cats who were getting sick to start trapping them and try to maybe have me domesticate them over time and then adopt them out. And they do make wonderful pets. All of our cats, once they were domesticated, they didn't pee all over the house. If they weren't neutered, we had them neutered and got them fixed. And this is Garfield. Garfield was one of the ones we trapped. And when we trapped him, we found out he was emaciated and was drooling. And I asked my neighbor, like, how long had, they'd seen him like that. And she said it actually had been months. They didn't realize he was having severe dental problems. And so out in the wild, out in the yard, he looked healthy. But when you trapped him and you touched him, you could feel every bone in his body. So what we did was took him in. He's been living in this cage, like a double cage. And he's been doing... we just started feeding him soft food because that feral community is fed by another neighbor of ours, but only feeds dry food, kibbled food. So this poor cat was starving to death. And when he would eat, if he did eat, he would struggle really badly. So Garfield, I decided, was a pretty viable animal. When I start domesticating them, you can't touch them for a couple months. What I do is, my method is, whether, I don't know if it's right or wrong or whatever, but it's what worked a couple times, was to let me pet them in their own time and introduce them to touch through like long sticks that I use and sort of brush their head. And I let them come to me eventually. Like when I lay food down for them, I'll sit there and be really still and not make eye contact and wait for them to come out to the food bowl. And over time, they just get used to me being there and stop hissing and stop freaking out. And then as they're eating, I try to pet them with like a long stick. And then over time, I replace the stick with my hand very, very carefully. And basically, it's whatever they allow me to do. And it creates a really good, strong bond of trust. So Garfield, when we trapped him, he was, when I started petting him with a stick, it was like surprising. He didn't hiss, he didn't do anything. And eventually I just put my hand in there and started petting him, and he received it quite well. He has no problem with me touching him now at all. And he's only been with me for like 2 months. And I think what happened is Garfield was probably a stray, that he was either dumped or whatever. He had been domestic probably in his early life and then was dumped. And we estimate he's about 7, 8 years old now. But it's absolutely shocking that he just loves when I touch him, and he loves being massaged all over. So Garfield had surgery yesterday. It was determined he had stomatitis, and all his teeth had to come out. And I got to tell you, we had to wait a month to get him in for the surgery. And this poor cat, like, I was giving him CBD and trying to give him a gabapentin. By the end, before he got his teeth out, he was just really suffering. But he was being so sweet through it all. He really was. He's such a good boy. And now he's one day out from surgery, and this is what it looks like. So poor Garfield. You can see he's drooling. He's uncomfortable right now because he's probably, his meds, like, I could tell when his meds are starting to sort of work out of his system, and he probably needs another dose. But to carry him through to the next dose, because he's only supposed to have it twice a day, I rub CBD onto his ears. I have some CBD, and it's low. There's like low, very, very low THC in it. But, I just want to try and keep him comfortable. I was thinking about giving a little bit of gabapentin too in the meantime, but I don't want to like super drug him up. But you can tell it sometimes he'll start to wince real bad, and he'll meow. He'll have like a meow out of pain. And he's hanging in there though. He's been really good today. He ate really good. He'll be on soft food for the rest of his life. But he's being a good boy, and I'll continue to give updates on Garfield because he's an amazing little cat, and I call him Biggie G. So Garfield just seems so formal. It does, and we're buddies now, so he's Biggie G. So that's my feral story so far.